Alright, so since leaving Gillette Tuesday evening, I have been able to make it to my planned campsite in the Colorado mountains. It has not, however, been without a few challenges. So I left Gillette Tuesday evening. I stayed till the evening so I could catch another soccer game from the granddaughters, and then went down to Douglas, Wyoming, stayed in Riverside City Park. We have a review on our Meander website about that if you want to check it out. It's a city park that allows free camping for 2 nights. They even have free hot showers. Pretty amazing. So if you're traveling through southern part of Wyoming along I-25, that's something you might want to keep in mind for an overnight place or even a 2-night stop. Wednesday morning, I got up early and headed on to Colorado and up into the mountains where I planned on camping for a while. In the process of all this, I said there were some challenges. The van started running hot, not overheating, but running hot and losing power. So I'm not sure what that's about. I ran into some inaccessible campsites, even ones I vetted with the Forest Service directly. And now I'm dealing with altitude sickness. That's why I'm recording this in the van, because I planned on going for a hike this morning and taking you all along with me and showing you around more, but I'm not up to hiking today. Alright, so the van engine started running hot. I replaced the fuel pressure regulator, which was a suspected culprit in the last time I was having trouble. So I replaced that in Gillette before I left, and that's been fine. But I got down around Denver, and the gauge started running a little hot. Not overheating, but it's usually just below half, and it's running just above the halfway mark. And then I started losing some power, and I actually had to stop once on I-70 going up a mountain because it was getting so bad. So I pulled over, let it set for a while, an hour or so, and then it seemed to run fine again after that. And then initially I just blamed it on the heat. It was hot in Denver, hot in the valleys, it was pushing 100. So I turned off the air conditioning, put down the windows, and, I blamed it on that, and it seemed to help a little bit. But then I started up the mountains, and, it didn't help anymore. But it seems to be more of a problem driving highway on the, at speed on the highway, which for me is like 60 or 65, and in traffic. It's like if I'm driving on a forest road, it seems to be fine when I'm rolling along at low speeds. So I'm going to have to get that looked at, I guess, next time I go into town, because I'm not sure what's going on. Kind of a bad time for van trouble. Things have been slow with work the last couple months. I picked up some freelance work when I bought this van, and I'm still making payments on the van too, and that lasted for a while, then dried up without warning, which is kind of par for the course with freelance work. It just comes and goes sometimes without warning. But I've got something else lined up that's going to be starting hopefully within the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, this is a bad time to be dealing with van breakdowns. So hopefully it's nothing serious. It'll be an inexpensive repair, and I can get that taken care of and be back traveling towards the desert slowly, because this is a slow migration. The good news is that I'm at a campsite where I can stay out for up to 14 days, and I've got plenty of food, plenty of water, so I'm well supplied. It's just a matter of eventually having to get this thing looked at and figured out. Also has the challenge with inaccessible campsites. There's not a lot in this area that you don't need a 4x4 to get to, or that you're going to have cell phone coverage at, because the mountains make it tough to maintain a signal, and I don't want to be driving in and out every day to be able to work. That's just a lot of gas and wear on the van. I'm trying to avoid that, so I try and find places where I can park for a week or two at a time. So I've had one lined up, my first stop, and really hard to find. Not on any of the camping databases. I found it through a direct listing on the Forest Service website. Very hard to find. So I got up there to the trailhead where the road goes off from, and there's new signs saying no camping and day use only. And I'm like, not another camping area that's been closed down, because we've been running into that a lot lately, either because just had overuse problems or abuse, people trashing the place and they're shutting it down, or sometimes even public lands being sold off as they're no longer available for public use. So we run into that a lot the last year or so, and so I thought that might be going on again. But on a whim, I called the Forest Service, and lo and behold, the ranger said, oh, no, yeah, you can't camp at the trailhead there, and you can't camp right away on that road, but if you go up the road a little ways, you'll see signs that say dispersed camping is allowed. So, all right, great. So I start up the road, and what I did not find out from the ranger was that it's a 4x4 trail, and it eventually, and it is going to be 2 miles up to where the dispersed camping starts, and that I was still plodding along, making it okay, until I came to yet another barrier when I found out that creeks cross the road. And so this picture here, it's worse than it looks. That is a deep a wide pool, and it's a steep jump on the other side, and there was no way I was taking a van through there. So, I had to back up for half a mile, literally, to find a place I could turn around so I could make my way back out and go to this other spot. Now, on top of that, I'm dealing with high altitude sickness. Now, I camp at above 10,000 feet periodically, and at least typically each year anyways, and I'm always a little short of breath when I'm hiking or walking for a while. That's about the extent of it. And that's been it for the first 2 days here. Day 3, I woke up, and I am definitely dealing with some altitude sickness. Now, the altitude sickness can be a problem for anybody when you're camping above 8,000 feet if you're not used to being at that elevation. We did go up into the Bighorns a couple times this year at like 9,000 feet, but mostly 8,000 feet. But mostly we've been at, sea level to 4,000 or 5,000 feet. So this is a big climb to go up to here where I'm at right now. I'm at 10,400. So it can happen anytime over 8,000. I'm well above that here. Even if I go down to town here, I'm still above 8,000 feet because town is like 9,000 or 9,600 or something like that. So I'm still going to be pretty high even in town. Now, some people, I know some people who have tried to go to 10,000 foot camping in Colorado and just could not acclimate, and for health reasons had to go back down. Most people do acclimate eventually. It can take as much as a couple weeks to really fully acclimate. So hopefully this improves. But right now, today, man, I am like short of breath and just, all that stuff that goes with it. So not a lot of fun. So again, like I said, that's why I'm recording this in the van. I'd planned on taking you all for a hike with me today and recording this video along the trail, but that just didn't happen because, I'm short of breath sitting still. So hopefully this improves pretty quickly. If it gets any worse or if it doesn't improve in a while, I'm going to have to go find a lower elevation spot because, it can get worse, and it doesn't happen. I mean, it's a small percentage of people. You can end up getting really quite sick with altitude sickness, even at 10 and 11,000 feet. And I've never had a problem before, so hopefully this just improves. But if it doesn't get better, I'm definitely going to have to find a way to get to a lower elevation. The catch is there's not really anything else in this immediate area. I already told you about the other one I tried to go to that didn't work so well. There's just nothing else in this immediate area that's going to give me cell phone coverage and without having to drive for a long ways. And there are a few paid campgrounds, but that's just not in the budget with the van problem and having to figure out what's going on with that. So, I'm just going to have to try and work it out. Hopefully it gets better. If not, I'll have to figure out somewhere I can go that's not too far away. Hopefully that's at a lower elevation. Meanwhile, I'm resting, drinking lots of water, trying to, supportive measures, and hopefully it passes soon. But as I said, I did find a decent enough campsite. It's working for me for now. I'm at 10,400 feet in the Colorado mountains along the 10-mile range. There's some nice scenery, but not a little bit of nice scenery where I'm actually parked, but there's some nice scenery not further up the road. It's kind of a weird area. They allow 14-day camping along this road, but they're almost all just like little pull-offs, so you're like right on the road. And there is some traffic. Today's been kind of annoying because it's Saturday, so there's been a lot more traffic than there was on Thursday and Friday or Wednesday evening since I've been here. But they're just pull-offs. And I went further up when I got here, and there are some nice sites. You get up into open meadows and just incredible views. And there's a couple places you can actually get off the road a little further, but there's no phone service up there. So, and now that I'm having some altitude sickness problems, I wouldn't want to be up over 11,000 feet where those are anyways. According to some of the online reviews I found, it's supposed to be decent Verizon service along this road. No, there's barely Verizon service. Like, you can get a 1-bar signal, but it's really spotty if it works. I did find, and I'm in the only spot along this road that has good AT&T service, however, which is one of the reasons I'm here. I'm also a tiny bit off level, but I need to get some leveling blocks, I guess. But right out my window this direction is, and down 1,000 feet down a ravine, is town. There's a steep climb on this side, so it's like literally it's on the side of a mountain. The road just goes along the side of a mountain. So there's you wouldn't want to take too many steps this side out of the van, or you'd be in for a rough tumble down the side of a mountain. But I wanted a high elevation campsite for a couple of reasons. One is the temperature. I was tired of dealing with heat. It was almost 100 degrees a day Wednesday when I came up here, and so I wanted some better elevation. And it's like in the 60s every day here right now, and in the 40s at night, sometimes low 50s, so pretty decent. The other thing I wanted was to be here for the foliage, and I've seen a few of the small aspens are just starting to turn yellow, but for the most part everything's still green. And with a look at the forecast, I'm thinking it's going to be later in September. We were here 2 years ago in the Colorado high country, and mid-September was like peak, and leaves were starting to drop, and we were on into Moab by late September because it was snowing in the mountains. So it looks like it's a little later this year, so probably going to be late September, I think, from what I'm seeing. But I wanted to be here for when it did change so I could see the colors and capture that and share. I'm also trying to follow a more or less direct route from northeast Wyoming to the desert this year, and catch some scenery along the way, but I'm trying to keep it to as direct as possible to limit fuel and to limit miles, with like van problems. So hopefully, though it was kind of strategic too that I'm trying to stick along a basically direct route to where I'm trying to get to. I'm also near an Amazon locker location here, which is cool because with a holiday I wasn't able to get some copies of the latest meanderings sent to me before leaving Gillette, so I'm near an Amazon locker location so I can have stuff sent direct from Amazon directly to the locker and pick it up right there without needing to deal with the whole normal address thing that you have to deal with to get stuff on the road. So that's kind of a cool feature. I have not used that before. I know other people who have. Looking forward to trying that out, and I should be able to pick some stuff up just about 10 miles from here this week coming up, so that's pretty cool. So what about you? Have you camped in the Colorado mountains? What do you think about camping up in the high country in Colorado? And if you have camped up here in the mountains, have you run into trouble with altitude sickness? As for me, I'm happy to be traveling again, seeing some new sights. I'm in a place I've not been before right now, so that's kind of cool. That's always exciting, seeing something new and interesting. And I look forward to sharing some of these views that I'm seeing as I'm feeling a little better and I get the van taken care of so I can go exploring a little more and shoot some photos and videos to share with everyone. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. And maybe leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you in the next video.